So
I'm not surprised.
Here, your first year, you have no idea that you're a successful agent. You're just doing what you're doing. And then the brokerage you're with says, hey, you've done great. And I think was it right about then or before? Because you didn't, you're so unconventional in the way that you, I think, process and just go, or I don't want to say unconventional. I just think you're brave and you're courageous. That's probably better. Because you immediately said, I'm going to start a team. Or I'm gonna have a group, right? I mean, we're year one, and most people think about, wow, that'll be 5 years down the road or 3, or you didn't wait.
No, I immediately, my thoughts were when I thought about building a team was like, I need help because I really truly enjoyed the investing and the flipping, which takes a lot of time. And, when you're learning all these things, real estate, like all these, you should lead generate, I'm like, I don't have time for that. Like, that's not what I do. And I'm smart enough to know, like, there are people who can do things better than me. So I started thinking, like, who could I bring in that would be great at this? Who would be great at lead generating? Who would be great at meeting with people? Who wants to go network? Because I'm like, I might go to one a year. Right. That's just not my thing. And so, I started thinking about who could I bring in that would be of value, that would continue to grow Anchored and I also felt like I was not servicing my clients the best, because even though being a house flipper brings a value that a lot of agents don't have, because I can go over an inspection report with you and I can tell you, hey, this is a big deal. This is not a big deal. This is very costly. This isn't. Let me connect you with someone who can fix that for you. Right. There's a lot of things I can bring from that side that are a benefit. But the other side of it, all of just the things that go with it, the checking in with lenders, checking in with title, paperwork, those kind of things. I'm like, who would be really good at just loving on our clients and just to grow in that way too? I just was thinking forward vision, not just for today, but if I'm going to grow, how do I prepare that? Like, how do I build a foundation that promotes growth? Because if I'm trying to do it all myself, then I'm not really helping anybody. So I just started bringing in, I say that I do feel like, the Lord has brought people into my team. I feel like it's been divine connections. It's been least likely people. And they've all been new agents, which is a challenge all in itself. Cause I'm like, I'm a new team leader. We're with a new brokerage this is her first time being a broker. We are trailblazing in all areas because we don't know what we're doing, but we're trying, you're doing it. It's just taking those steps towards something bigger and greater that I feel that we're just called to do. So,
so true.
So that's kind of how the team came into play, but now they're sort of, they're growing too. I mean, for me, it was like, I used to say things, I know this sounds terrible, but I was like, I'm not a salesperson. I mean, like, I don't feel like a salesperson. I am a teacher. Like, I can teach you, I can show you. I don't feel like a salesperson. And I just learned really quickly through that, just, our words are powerful. And when I kept speaking, I'm not a salesperson, I was sort of like giving myself confidence issues. Like, I'm not good enough to do that. I shouldn't be here. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I changed that to, I no longer say I'm not a salesperson. I am of service. I'm not a salesperson, but I can find someone to help service what you need.
Yeah.
And, the fun thing about real estate and from an investing standpoint is it's problem solving. That's all it is. Like, if you have to move and you got to sell this house to get to this house and you got to, add this fund from this fund, like, let me help you solve that problem. Let me show you another way you didn't think of. And, that's been really cool too, because you're not really selling. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm trying to figure out how we can solve a problem so that you can benefit financially and functionally.
Right. God's economy is built on service, and service comes in that form. And so service is sales at some level, right? Without the moniker of like, I'm in sales. Really, we are in service. We're in service to the clients that we get to, that the Lord blesses us with.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think you're in service to the women that are around you in specifically in your group, and we talk about Alicia, and I just seen her in the last year, seen what the difference that real estate has made in her life and her family, just hearing it and some of the stories she shared. And it's like, wow, this is big. This is massive life impact. And you have helped to empower that. And that's really amazing. Like, you're making an impact in the world. You're making an impact in the kingdom.
Wow.
And that's really
no pressure.
Really great.
Yeah, no pressure.
No, but I mean, that is my goal. Even in building a team, it was never a goal of like, I'm going to be this top producing team. That was never the goal. And the goal was to show others that they can grow, they can meet goals, they can set goals, they can try things. And I think you said earlier, like I have courage or something. No, I do. You're right. It's probably courage because I do it afraid. I do a lot of things. I mean, I tell myself all the time, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. And there's a lot of prayer with that, a lot of just trusting the Lord's direction in that. And, what has he called me to do? And am I in his will, or am I trying to do things myself? Because we're really quick to try to control and fix and help. And, even if it comes from a good place, like, am I doing it for him or am I doing it for me? And so then really just going back to what's going to please him first and foremost, and then talking with him. And, that's a big change even in my life, just building a business as an entrepreneur, is you are seeking him in everything. There is no steady salary. There is no like comfort level. I know that that's a myth we create even in a regular job, because you can be laid off. COVID taught us all sorts of things. So I think that's sort of a myth. But when you are literally down to nothing, or you've invested your last dollar into a property and you're like, I've got to sell this to feed my family, and you get a cash offer and it closes, it's like things that you're like, I could never have done that on my own. Like, that was the Lord.